All right, friends, what we got today is another lawnmower review. It's a big shocker. We hardly do those ever. What I try to concentrate when we're doing lawnmower reviews is lawnmowers that aren't really for mowing lawns as much as they are for mowing acreage. So like back behind me, lots of grass, real tall, real thick, real dirty, real nasty. So maybe we don't need the best cut or the cleanest cut, but we do need it cut efficiently and cut well. So when I look at a mower, what I'm looking at is, will it mow the front lawn? Yeah, that's fine. We're slowly getting rid of the front lawn. It will do a pretty cut, just like any other mower can. If the mower can't cut pretty lines in your lawn, it's not something I'm concerned about, but these will do it. But what I'm concerned about is on property like this. You know, we got 10 acres, 5 of it-ish we mow. Is just what can we put in just a shattered hellscape of a lawn or a field, maybe replacing your brush cutter, and successfully get that grass down and make it so it doesn't look so horrible that the neighbors are calling the sheriff on you. So spoiler alert, the answer is yes, of course it can. But I'm just going to go over some specifics on this thing and what's nice about it. And I'll tell you, man, this is probably the most boring lawnmower in the world. This is the Grasshopper 100V series. This particular one's a 125V. It is filthy because I've been mowing with it. Mowing with it a lot. And I gotta say, man, Grasshopper as a company makes the most boring lawnmower in the world. And that's a good thing. And I think they try to broadcast that. This mower is not fancy colored. There's not bikini clad models advertising these. They don't have, you know, rock climbers in their videos, rock climbing on their days off, and then, you know, mowing like a tough guy, or firefighters or nothing. It's a beige mower that goes out there and gets the job done no matter what. And it's built so that every time you go out to mow, it just starts, does the job, you put it away, and you don't stink and think about it. It's a stinking lawnmower, and it does that job great. So we'll go through some of this. There's a couple features on this that I'll show you, and we'll kind of talk about some pros and cons with it. So give me just a tick here. So let's start with the front end here. Again, Grasshopper 125V. I'm going to show you the optional. Stuff on this thing. So springs here, so if you go over a bump, they'll kind of flex back and kind of take some of the blow of that bump. A lot of companies just do springs that bounce up and down. Well, we're already bouncing up and down. I don't need to bounce up and down more. These flex. Pretty smart idea. So that's an optional thing. Option, adjustable bales. I think you need that. You're not having that, just doesn't make any sense. And then another option, this roller here. So if you've got like bricks or something you need to mow against, instead of just slamming your deck against and maybe ripping them up, this roller will kind of help guide you around that hardscape while letting you get that deck as close as possible as you can to mow, so you don't have like a huge space where you got to go back through with the weed whacker and whack. So those are the options on this mower. Standard stuff. I say these guys are a boring company, but they have names for everything. So this platform they call the anti-vibe platform, because you have pucks under here that kind of eat up the vibration while you're mowing, so your feet and legs don't fall asleep, I guess. Cup holder, the Spill Master. I don't know if you can see that Spill Master cup holder. They call that the Edge Ease, I think. They have names for everything. This one has standard turf tires. Regular old seat here with armrests that flop up and down. Thank goodness. I hate when they are just down. I never use armrests. Those are always up. This is a 125. It means it runs a Kohler. Grasshopper does not do any Kawasaki engines. If you're a Kawasaki fanboy and you think that Kawasaki is the best engine in the world, Grasshopper, in their years of experience, disagrees. They don't use Kawasaki's. They use other stuff. It's okay. It's just an engine, guys. Let's settle down. But yeah, this is a Kohler commercial engine made in the USA. Great thing. Stuff you can't see on this one is the transmissions and whatnot. You can go look up the stats on those. Big old deck. This is a 61 inch. Here's how you start the machine. You turn the key with your choke knob pulled up. That's your throttle. That's your PTO for turning on and off your mower deck, and that's your adjustment for your seat, moving it fore and aft. Everything here is made for righties, so all your controls for starting and whatever is over here. If you have to pump your choke while you're turning your key, you better reach your other hand over. I kind of like those on the other side, but whatever. What is on the left hand side is the parking brake. Yep. Push that up and your parking brake's on. What is that doing? It is pressing this boot against this tire so the machine doesn't physically move. Pretty creative, and it's adjustable. So nice and simple, which a lot of their ideas are. Very simple. We like that. Here's your height adjust. Push your foot down, deck goes up. Move your pin to the lowest position you want, deck goes down to that position. Very, very simple. Fuel gauge down beneath your knees, fuel cap. I'm gonna jump on this thing, kind of talk about some stuff I do and don't like about it. So let's do that next. So let's get something I don't like out of the way first. This seat, it does bounce a little bit, eats up some bumps, that's great. There's a gap between the back and the bottom of the seat with the vent here. It's supposed to keep you from getting hot and sweaty. I find that the back here really just jabs into my back. Maybe I'm just fat and don't have enough muscle mass back there. I don't know. That hurts. I don't like it. What is cool is when you get on the deck, there's cleats for you to stand on. The deck does move independently of the body, but you can stand on the deck. That's okay. And then the footrest area here, nice and big. You can have your feet all the way out, you can have them in, and no matter where they're at, even with my legs, I can pull these bails in no problem. For lifting and lowering the deck, pretty easy to reach. It doesn't take too much work. If you're not long-legged, this might need to be changed up a little. I think they have a hydraulic deck lift option. Have to double check. So, nice mower. What I really like about Grasshopper is these bales move forward about 8 inches and backwards about the same. You don't have to push something 3 feet to make it move. So very smooth movements, and when you're driving this thing, it's really smooth. Like, you don't have to push really hard, or they're so light that you feel out of control and all of a sudden the machine's making a circle and you didn't want it to. It's very competent, very confident feeling, and the touch on these is so soft. It just seems like funny for a big manly man to say, whatever. When you're mowing with this guy, very gentle controls. You don't feel like you're fighting it all day long. You don't feel like you're working it all day. You just feel like, hey, I gotta move this thing and the thing turns. If you get a chance to test drive one of these, do. It feels very nice and soft. I really like mowing with this thing. What I don't love is I feel like reverse isn't tuned correctly on these. And maybe it's just me, but I feel like when I go in reverse, these wheels go from barely moving to just spinning at a moment's notice. As I mowed, I did learn how to deal with it, but it kind of surprised me. It didn't seem as well tuned as I would have thought. And it might just be me. I don't know. Yeah, go to move one of my tires in reverse, and it would either just barely go and them are great, but then suddenly break in contact with the ground. So that was something to learn. That wasn't just automatic for me. And I ride lots of zero turns. The adjusters on these are fine. There's little adjusters on either side, but when you go to get out of the seat, there's not anything here to put your hands on to get you up. So, if you ain't the most agile person in the world, you go to get up, I want something to help me, and I go to push on one of these handles, these adjusters will come loose and the handle will fly forward on me. So I've got to kind of learn to, hey man, just sit forward, come on, act like an old man, stand up, and then either exit off the front or exit on the side. So just a little learning thing there. So overall impressions with this machine, it cuts very, very well. You know, we're out here doing field grass, and even with a 61-inch deck, which I think you have to mow slower with a larger deck. So a lot of times I like a little narrower deck to do very tall grass and brush with. But replacing my brush mower with this and going out and doing grass that was like maybe knee high or waist high, it really handled well. You could hear it when you were bogging down the deck, and you could just back off a little bit. Which a lot of mowers, and this is a big thing Grasshopper does, a lot of mowers use a transmission that's too small for the duty cycle of the mower. You'll always hear them whining over your deck, so you can't hear what your deck's doing. If you're mowing properly, you're listening to your blades and your deck mowing, so you know what you're mowing over, you know when you should slow down, you know when you can speed up. A lot of transmissions are so loud you can't hear them. These guys use a transmission that's of the proper duty cycle for this machine, so you can actually hear your deck. The problem is, if you're used to listening to your transmission to tell you when you're getting stuck, this won't do it. You know, a lot of them will start whining really loud when you're starting to lose traction with the ground, so you can kind of stop. This one, you don't know till you're stuck. So you do have to pay attention to what's going on while you're mowing. You know, you gotta be a big boy or a big girl and actually pay attention to your machine. But other than that, I love it, and I like that those transmissions are quiet. They've got gobs of power. You never run out of power. This thing will go anywhere you want it to, until your turf treads fill up with dirt or mud. But the deck, and let me just show you this real quick, has an enormous opening, but you'll put too much material on this thing and bog it down. I did a few times. What I would almost recommend is go with a slightly narrower deck, which nobody will ever tell you this, but if you're working a big area, slightly narrower deck, you might find that you bog down less. Other than that, fantastic machine. Like I said, very boring. You're never going to wonder if it's going to work. It just will. The star of the show on this thing is the transmission, and what I can't show you is the spindles. The spindles on these things are enormous compared to normal spindles. You don't break them. We don't keep spare spindles at our shop because we don't sell them. So that's it, man. Go check out one of these Grasshoppers if you can. Get a test drive. A lot of times they'll be happy to bring one of these out to your property for you to try out and see if it works for you. Hope you're having fun out there. We'll see ya.